Gear is one of the most important things you can do to make your character stronger in Black Clover Mobile, which is why in today's video I'm going to go over how you can optimally gear your characters. So let's begin with where you can actually farm gear. So you can farm gear from limited time challenges and also just regular challenges that you can do. Obviously the limited time challenges are limited, so it's not the most efficient way for you to farm gear, whereas the regular unlimited time challenges are where you can actually farm gear 24/7. Once you load up this menu, you're greeted with 3 stages, which all each have their own typings of red, blue, and green. Then also all of these, gear stages will also, yield different types of gear sets. For example, the first gear stage being the red one will give you stuff like speed, attack, and defense gear. Then the second one being the blue gear stage is where you can get stuff like crit chance, HP, more crit chance gear, as well as some other defense gears. And then the final one being the green stage, where you can get stuff like defense penetration and also some crit damage gears as well. So exactly which one of these 3 is the best one for you to farm? Now, I think overall for most people the red one is going to be the best one for you to farm, as a lot of characters that are the most desirable anyway are mainly blue characters, being characters like Mars, Lotus, the new Ghost, and Vengeance. And what's so great about this stage is that not only are those few characters that I just listed literally perfect for this gear stage, as they are blue, so they'll be they'll have a type advantage, is that this gear stage also gives the perfect gear for those characters. As for example, like the speed gear that you can get is perfect for Vengeance, the defense gear is perfect for Mars, and then the offensive gear is also perfect for whatever DPS that you might be bringing in order to beat the stage. But that doesn't mean you should be sleeping on any of the other gear sets, as stuff like the crit chance gear sets are also very, very handy, as well as stuff like both of the defense penetration gear sets are also very useful, as well as also the crit damage one as well. But I would still say the priority should be the attack, speed, and defense gear stage, as the gears you get from that are very, very useful. So which are actually the best gear sets? Now, if we come to the screen where you can actually see all the gear sets, you'll be able to see that some of them they have the same typings, but there's something different about them. So for example, this gear set here will have the crit chance logo, whatever you want to call it, the icon of it, whatever you may want to call it, and this one will also have it. But what this one doesn't have is this star right here. Now, this star basically means that gear set is of, of a higher quality, meaning it's technically better. But, I mean, realistically, the only thing that's really better about these gears in comparison to the others is that the main difference is the passive, the 2 set and the 4 set passives are basically just better. But that doesn't mean that these are also inherently bad either. Then once you've farmed up all, your gear and, you want to equip it on a character, you'll be greeted with this grid right here. Now, this grid is very important, as, this is where you fill out the grid and, equip your equipment. So whenever you go to equip a piece of gear, you'll see that it will fill out a certain amount of the grid, and then you can move it, you can put it in or whatever, finalize it, and you can choose exactly where you want it to go. And each piece of gear will have its own amount of space that it fills out. So for example, if we look at the defense gear set, you'll be able to see that this piece is a 2x3, this piece is a 3x2, and then this piece is a 2x2, and then this is also another 2x3. Now, the amount that the amount of space that these gears take up is one of the most important things that you need to be paying attention to. Now, this is because for most characters, obviously you have two piece set bonuses and 4 piece set bonuses for gear sets. Now, for your attackers and debuffers, you mainly want to have 3 different types of 2-piece gear sets. So you could have attack gear sets, lifesteal gear sets, and then something else like crit rate or crit damage if you wanted. However, that there are certain specific cases, like in arena, you might want to give your debuffers some speed gear as well, just so they can be faster than the other debuffers in the match. So a lot of the time, if you have a Lotus, then a lot of the time you're going to be facing a Lotus, because Lotus is very, very good, so it's very, very common. So you're going to want to outspeed him for the mirror match. So there are some scenarios where you might want to run some 4-piece set bonuses. And then for your supporters like Vengeance as well as Mars, you want to normally have 4-piece set bonuses alongside another 2 set bonus as well, because I mean mainly just because a lot of the 2-piece set bonuses are for like offensive stuff and whatnot, and there aren't really many defensive sets that you could go with, as especially for tanks like Mars. His role is just to tank and soak up damage. So I mentioned before how important the amount of space that these gears take up is, and the reason for this is that when you combine certain sizes of gears together, you cannot achieve the 3 2-set bonuses. So for example, basically the rule of thumb is the the tall 2x3s and the wide 3x2s you should never ever use together, no matter what. Now this is because they will end up, taking up too much room, as they are of different, shapes and different rotations of that shape. So for example, right here, as you can see, I've put in a tall 2x3 and then a wide 3x2. Now as you can see in the bottom left of the grid, I will have up to 3 squares remaining. Now this is because the smallest piece you can get is a 2x2, meaning that I won't be able to completely fill out the grid, and also I won't be able to get as many stats as I probably could have. And literally no matter how much I move these around, I will always end up with like 2 to 4 squares missing that I won't be able to fill out. So basically the rule of thumb is when you're filling out your gear sets, you want to either combine the wide 3x2s with the 2x2s, or you want to combine the 2x3s with the 2x2s as well, or else like I've just demonstrated that you'll have wasted space. So yeah, just to summarize that, if it was a little bit confusing, so basically for attackers and debuffers in PvE, you're going to want to have 3 2-piece gear set bonuses on those characters, and then in arena for debuffers, you're going to want to give them a bunch of speed gear so they can be as fast as possible. And then for stuff like your supporters and your tanks, you really want just whatever is the best 4-set bonus for those characters. Obviously there are going to be scenarios where you might want to go for the 3 2-set bonuses, but most of the time you're going to want the 4-set bonus alongside a 2-set bonus for your tanks, supporters, healers, etc. And then again, the final thing is that you don't want to combine the tall 2x3s with the wide 3x2s, as it will create wasted space, which you could then use for another 2x2 piece of gear set. But that rule does not apply if you are using a 4-set piece bonus. On to the next thing, which is the gear substats. So these gear substats are also actually very important, as they can, with these certain stones that you can get from also just regular challenges, you can also use them to increase your substats strength. So for example, this is a piece of gear that on my Mars that's only +4 at the moment, so I've only unlocked 2 of its substats, but once I get it to level 8 and level 12, I will unlock more. So currently I have crit resistance and defense, and I can choose either one of these 3, and basically they all have their own different strengths, as this first one can only give me an extra 1 to 20 defense, this one can give me an extra 1 to 32, and then this one can give me an extra 1 to 35. Now basically it'll only cost you like 3,000 gold, and then only a few of the things, and then once you've used it, you'll only get the increase between that range of 1 to 65. So for example, we have also stuff like crit resistance, which can also be which is a percentage value. Now each of your substats can either be a flat number or a percentage increase. Now in terms of what you ideally want, honestly, I don't think it's that deep. You obviously want a bit of a mix and match of the lot of them, as for your DPS characters, you're going to want flat attack and magic attack, as well as the percentage increase, as once you have all of those put together, they're going to compound, and they're going to increase your stats by quite a lot more than you'd expect. So yeah, that is it for the gear guide. I really hope you enjoyed. I really hope it helped, because I'll be honest, I know it's quite confusing and it can be difficult, but honestly, once you get used to it, you'll be fine. And once you fully understand how everything works, and how what you should do and what you shouldn't do, then yeah, I think you'll really get the hang of it. But that is it. That's going to be it from me today. So make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.